Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fandom United. Gio here. This is Daily News Recap for July 14th. We are officially at the halfway point of the work week. On today's show, we got MCU talk, we got DCEU talk, we got a little bit of Star Trek talk. We're going to start with the hot topic of the past 24 hours. I'm still raving about Loki and that season finale. If you haven't seen the series or haven't seen the finale, there are timestamps in the description below so you could skip forward. But I will be talking about spoilers for Loki. Let's get it started. The multiverse is officially open. It's happening. Who knows where the phase 4 of the MCU goes from here? But we know the big films that will definitely be the ones most impacted by this event. There's Spider-Man No Way Home, which I've been talking about for months. It's nice to see other people talking about it finally. They all seem to be embracing the idea of seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on the big screen. Obviously, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which, by the way, Loki has been confirmed to at least make an appearance in the movie. So we're getting Doctor Strange, we're getting Wanda, and we're getting Loki. Presumably the same Loki who found himself confused because he thought he went back to the original TVA that he's been at pretty much this whole entire season. But then he tries to talk to Mobius, and Mobius is like, I'm sorry, who are you? And then we see the statue of Kang the Conqueror. The evil variant of the character has taken over. Speaking of Kang the Conqueror, which, by the way, we never actually hear him call himself Kang. He says, I've been called many names. He mentions the Conqueror, He Who Remains, which that was a nice twist. But we finally saw Jonathan Majors as the character. And I'll say it was a less evil version of the character. I think that goes without saying if you've seen the episode. You know, it reminded me of Dragon Ball Z for any Dragon Ball Z fans out there. This was the good Boo, and then the evil variant, who we saw the statue of, was the Majin Buu. But anyways, I digress. This is our first taste of Jonathan Majors as the character, some version of the character. And I gotta say, very, very impressive. Anytime he was talking, I was hooked. I was focused. He brings a lot of charisma, a lot of gravitas to the role, and another great casting by Marvel. I think more than anything, I'm just happy that a fan theory was finally correct, right? If it wasn't Kang at the end, I would have been very upset. I think I tweeted about it too. But after Mephisto and all the rumors about the power broker, we finally got one, a big one, that was correct. And it was Kang behind it the whole time. And while he made Sylvie and Loki fight each other because they both thought they were doing the right thing, Kang got exactly what he wanted. Like I said, where this goes as far as the story arc continuing, I don't think it touches Shang-Chi. I don't think it touches the Eternals. It may very well, but probably not. But definitely Spider-Man No Way Home, which is our next topic. We have some Hot Toys reveals that show us more detail of the black and gold Spider-Man outfit that we first saw, I want to say, via promotional images maybe 2 weeks ago. But here it is right here. Here's a better look at the costume. As you can see, there's the black with the gold, a little more detail. Looks a little Wakandan-like. But the two big things I want to point out first, that looks like a similar temp pad that Kang had in the season finale of Loki. That's on Spider-Man's wrist on the left side. And then on this chest, it looks like some sort of magic within the suit. That could be very Doctor Strange. I mean, obviously on the right-hand side, how his web shooter shoots out and gives kind of a sorcerer-like shield projection. That's pretty cool. I didn't think we would get anything like that, but it's nice to see the costume continuing to evolve, which makes sense, right? If Spider-Man's going to be around characters like Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, or even a Spider-Man that exists in the same world as Wakanda, he's definitely getting some suit upgrades. And here's another image right here, another better image that you can see of the suit, giving me some heavy Killmonger vibes, which I love it. And here's the last one right here. Again, I can't wait to see those web shooters in action and what effects they give off. That's going to be pretty cool. But once again, that temp pad on his wrist tells me he might be going with Doctor Strange to different timelines, different universes. Maybe he helps recruit Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Hey guys, we need your help. We got to fight off your villains that ended up in our timeline that, if the rumors are true, Tom Holland freed because he didn't agree with what Doctor Strange was doing, imprisoning those villains in his sanctum. But we'll wait and see with that first trailer, which hopefully arrives soon, sometime in the next couple of weeks. That's the last update I heard, sometime late July, early August. So it's a wait and see, but a lot of exciting stuff happening in the MCU. Another one is Thor: Love and Thunder, the upcoming fourth movie in the Thor franchise. Fourth movie, how about that? But anyways, Karen Gillan, who is confirmed to be a part of that movie, talked about the script for Thor: Love and Thunder. And she said, "My reaction reading the script was excitement. It was like, this is going to be a hell of a ride. It's Taika at his best and his most Taika. The Guardians in it, I think, are just hilarious. And also Thor is even more hilarious than he was the last time." And if you remember, the last time we saw Thor and the Guardians, they were getting ready to take off, presumably to find Gamora. And what we got was a pretty fun exchange between Star-Lord and Thor.
We should fight one another for the honor of leadership.
Sounds fair.
It's not necessary.
It's not.
Okay?
I got some blasters, unless you guys want to use knives.
Oh, yes, please. Use knife.
There shall be no knifing one another. Everybody knows who's in charge. Yes, you. Of course. Of course. Of course.
Now, I know some of you are saying out there, what is this? I don't want a funny Thor. I want a Thor who is the god of thunder, who is more mighty, who is a little more serious, take things a little more seriously, right? And a part of me sees what you guys mean, right? I don't want them to really go even more funnier this time around, although that is actually a successful formula within this MCU. Taika seems to have a lot of fun, and as well as Chris Hemsworth. So if it means he plays Thor for another 5 to 7 years, then they're definitely going to keep going down that route. But leave me your thoughts. I'm curious what you actually think about that. Let's go over to DC, and James Gunn is talking more Suicide Squad. We are just about 3 weeks away from the release, and James Gunn is doing his press tour, and he talked about, once again, the creative freedom that Warner Brothers gave him and how he wanted to do something a little bit more differently than what David Ayer did in the first Suicide Squad movie. And he said this: "I wanted to create what I thought of as the Suicide Squad. For me to react to David's movie would make it the shadow of David's movie. I wanted it to be its own thing completely. When Warner Brothers said they wanted me to do this, I watched the first movie for the first time, and I called them back and said, what do I have to keep from this movie? They said nothing. They said, listen, we would love it if Margot's in the movie, but she doesn't have to be. You could come up with all new characters, or you could keep all the same characters. And while some of you, including myself, may be thinking, why didn't Zack Snyder and David Ayer get this amount of leeway with making their movies? This doesn't happen. This kind of creative freedom from James Gunn doesn't happen without Zack Snyder and David Ayer and what they had to go through. James Gunn even said it himself on Twitter that he paved the way for James Gunn to get this. Now, another argument can be made that if you look at James Gunn's resume, however you feel about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, those were successful financially and critically, which for Warner Brothers, given that they want to be more like Marvel than they do like DC, they are all about that. They welcome that. And in their minds, they're probably thinking James Gunn can do no wrong. He did 2 ensemble superhero movies. He can do a third one with the Suicide Squad, albeit not exactly superhero. But hey, look, ignoring the Warner Brothers drama and where this fits in the DCEU, etc., talking about this movie by itself, the fact that James Gunn had total, complete creative freedom, for better or worse, I think is for the better, because he will get to make his movie. DC gets a movie that's once again unique, unlike the rest, one that, like Zack Snyder's Justice League, James Gunn can leave his mark on this franchise. And that's something that we've been trying to get Warner Brothers to do for the longest time, with being filmmaker driven. Remember that? And while I would love to see David Ayer's Suicide Squad cut, which I think happens in 2022. I'm not just saying that. I've been saying that for months. I think it happens in 2022. I think at the same time, while we champion David Ayer's Suicide Squad, we need to keep an open mind for James Gunn's version and not just write it off to prove a point because we hate Warner Brothers and we want to have misplaced emotions. But that's just my thoughts. You guys let me know what you think about James Gunn getting full creative control, about the Suicide Squad. Speaking of which, here is an IMAX poster. I would love to see it because that was the way it was intended to be seen. Like Zack Snyder's Justice League. I had to stop myself from going off in another tangent, but there it is right there. Leave me your thoughts. And let's go to our last topic here, and that is Star Trek. The latest in development movie has found its director, and that's WandaVision's Matt Shakman. He will be directing the next Star Trek movie. He'll be directing a script written by Lindsay Beer and Geneva Robertson, both writers attached to Sony's Silver Sable movie within their Spider-Verse. And J.J. Abrams will be producing. Now, again, it's unclear where this Star Trek movie will take place. Will it follow Star Trek Beyond, which I thought was a very good movie, or will it be part of a reboot? The fact that J.J. Abrams is producing tells me it will be the 4th film with Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana, Zachary Quinto, etc., all coming back. That's more speculation on my part, but the news here is that WandaVision director Matt Shakman will be directing. I hope that they follow through with that announcement that was made a couple years ago where Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth would share the screen as father and son, James and George Kirk. I don't know how they would make that work, but that would be pretty cool and definitely would draw a lot of people in those who may have already lost interest in the Star Trek franchise to see these two. I think that's the way to go. But that's just my thoughts, okay? I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan. I appreciate and enjoy the movies for what they are. But leave me your thoughts if you think otherwise. And that's going to do it for Daily News Recap for July 14th. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will be continuing the Loki conversation and the ramifications of that in Phase 4 of the MCU this Sunday on Fandom United Live. So stay tuned for that. I will be doing a live show this Sunday evening. I want to plug a few of my videos. My Black Widow No Spoilers review is currently on the channel. If you've seen the movie, share your thoughts. Let's have a conversation. As well as my review for The Tomorrow War, Chris Pratt's latest sci-fi action on Prime Video. Solid movie. Check out my review and leave me your thoughts. Once again, thank you everyone for your time and for your subscriptions. I appreciate all your support. Until tomorrow, you guys take care.